Black man with a hoodie. So many negative perceptions of that image alone. And it's time we get serious about what's going on in America. Racism, riots, looting, protests. We are fed up. And tonight my guests are going to talk about just that. Being a black man in America. Let's chop it up. All right, today we're cooking Italian style chicken and zucchini. Blue apron, my knickknacks. Man, they coming in handy right now in time of quarantine, I'll tell you. Prep some of my stuff before my guests come on. Trying to do a better job of just prepping before the call. Man, so my guests are here. I am super excited. I actually have a panel of folks today, and we're going to talk about the state of America, and most importantly, being black in America. You know, we are fathers, we are sons, you know, and we're going to talk about that
Good
today.
evening, everybody. Shad Hargrove. I am a general manager of a e-commerce distribution center.
Hi, my name is Caleb. I go to Mayo High School for Math Science and Technology in Darlington, South Carolina. I'm in ninth grade. I was in ninth grade. I'm going to.
Good evening, everybody. I am Brian Hammonds. I'm a district manager with a Fortune 120 retailer. I am also founder CEO of Two Words Apparel, coming soon. I'll be here, father of two.
I'm Eddie Parsons. I am a account manager for a staffing company currently, and I also am tapping into real estate now, as of recent. And I have two young sons that I'm bringing up. So, I mean, I'm just happy to be here to be able to, shed some light on what's going on, learn a little bit.
And guys, as you can see, all black men, all productive citizens, you know what I mean, doing great things. I just want to put that out there. And so, Eddie, since I ended on you, I really wanted to have you up here tonight because you just recently told us about a situation to where your 6-year-old son, you know, was asking you questions about the protest, and his question to you was, Pops or Dad, whatever, I thought police were good guys. Man, I mean, I don't have a son yet. Tell me about that question. Tell me about the conversation. Like, what do you say?
You know, a while back, my son had a police officer come to his school. I kind of wanted to get into it with him then, but my wife and I said, hey, well, we'll wait. He said to me, he said, Dad, I thought, police officers were supposed to protect and serve us. That's what the police officer told me that came to our school. So I said, son, that's true. That is what they're supposed to do. But unfortunately, that's not the case for every police officer. And that's not, everyone, all of the police officers are not out to, they unfortunately are not there to protect and serve. You will have to protect yourself from some of them. And here's how you do it. Tough conversation, hurt my heart, but I had to have it, because we love them. We want them to, we want them to come home. We want them to grow up, but we also want him to understand the world that he lives in right now.
I'm like, man, do I want a black son? It's because I'm so afraid, in a sense, for a black man to be coming into this world, with everything going on. Like, all of this stuff is making me feel that way. I mean, Eddie, do you feel like there's a blueprint? I mean, like, or you feel like that same conversation is going to evolve when you get to your 3-year-old or once he gets older?
So I wouldn't say, it's not a blueprint. It's just you got to use your instinct, use your own personal values, use your own personal experiences, the way you were raised. I'm terrified for my sons every day. But at the same time, I love on my sons every single day as well. I mean, while they're, and I'm going to teach them. I'm going to teach them the way that I know, teach them right from wrong, teach them how they should conduct themselves if they are to be stopped by a person of law, a law enforcement person, so that their life will be.
That's the purpose of these conversations. And what about you, Shad? I mean, you have literally your son on the call right now. He's 15 now, so you've gone through different stages of communicating what he should expect? What has that been like raising him?
But it's hard. Like, I'm not one to watch the news. I'm not one to watch. After living in Chicago for many years, y'all know the story. After living in Chicago for many years, everything that you hear on the news is always negative. So since then, I don't watch it. I just can't. I don't have the patience for it anymore. But after seeing everything on social media over the last few days, like, I found myself drawn to the news just because I wanted to be more educated on what's going on. And son's mother and I had a conversation with Caleb just on Friday. And as a parent, you have a framework of what you need to do to be, to be a good parent, whether it's from watching your parents, whether it's from things that they did that you like, or things that they did you didn't like, being around relatives and loved ones. So for the most part, you're prepared to have just about every conversation possible, right? You're not prepared of how to have a conversation about the senseless killings that are taking place in the United States just for, like, running in a neighborhood, or just going for a walk, or just getting pulled over, right? Like, as I'm watching all these images depicted on the media with this, the most recent incident with this guy, having an officer's knee in his neck, then see other images of Caucasian individuals that are arrested for killing multiple people, but then the police officers are giving them water to drink, right? Like, WTF.
Like Caleb, hearing that and seeing all of this stuff. So you're 15. You're actually, so when we think of the next generation and we think about a young black man right now that can be impacted by this, you're literally like who we think of. So knowing that, how do you process all of this, and what is your take on everything?
My generation grew up with social media. We always look through the lens of what we've been given as a whole, and then we judge it based off of that. So based off of what we constantly see in the news or on stuff like Snapchat or Instagram constantly, it starts to desensitize us to it. So it's like, oh, it's it's one more thing happening. And I think personally that eventually we shouldn't have to do that. And we shouldn't have to be like, oh, this is happening again. We should be like, this shouldn't happen ever again. And I feel like our generation and the generation after us is probably one of the ones we need to worry about, so that they can, either our generation or the next generation can fix the problems in our country, so we can make sure that stuff like this can never happen again.
First off, very well said, and I agree with you. So my only thing is, so I'll put you on the spot and say, all right, Caleb, I feel you, but your generation is a generation that can make a change. So what do you think you can do, and those in your generation
I
can do?
think my generation should be learning more about our history and why this is wrong, should focus on trying to fix all the negatives so that we don't have to worry about any of these situations. We should worry about making sure that cops are actively being punished for their actions and brutalizing young people like me. And we need to worry about the type of leaders that we vote for, who we want to represent us as an entire country. And for like generations after me, I hope that we as my generation can continue to teach them to do the same thing if anything ever happens like this again.
We can think of ourselves at 15. We weren't thinking like this. Caleb, thank you. Thank you for your insight as a young black man. Thank you for thinking the way that you do. Thank you for being proactive. Your dad brags about you all the time. And he recently even told us about, how you've been so woke with everything.
Man, like, it's crazy as hell to me to want to even having these conversations with my child to this level, but for like hear how eloquently he speaks about a topic like that's affecting us to the level that it is present day. Like I can't help but be teary eyed.
So Brian has two sons as well, but I don't know, for some reason when I think about you, man, I still remember the situation at NC State and you got stopped because you fit a profile. Like, I just got chills. And man, let's talk to us about it. Tell us about the situation. This stuff is real.
So, trotting back to go back to the front side of the building, and the police officer yells out to me. He's like, "Hey, stop right there!" So I turn around, I'm like, "You talking to me?" He's like, "Yeah, you come here right now." So I walk up to the car. What's going on? Et cetera, et cetera. He's like, "I need you to stand right here. Don't move." Like, okay. So he gets on his radio and said, "Hey, can you give me a description of this guy who apparently just armed robbery, had just robbed someone?" And it's like, "Yeah, I hear them over the radio. Yeah, the guy has dreadlocks. He's wearing dark blue jeans and yada, yada, yada." And so the officer that's standing in front of me says, "Well, I've got a guy here that, fits that description, has dreadlocks, but he's wearing light blue jeans, et cetera, et cetera." So I politely say, "Sir, first of all, I don't have dreadlocks. I have cornrows. There's a distinct difference. My whole life could have been changed right then. It's a shame that I can't think of a black man, and even a lot of black women, but especially black men. I can't think of one that I know that hasn't had some form of interaction with the police that has been close to that or worse than that." And it's infuriating, man. So to hear and to see everything that's going on over the past few weeks with Breona Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, now George Floyd. I mean, like, all these things that are happening that consistently happen and I'll say people of color, but I hate the term people of color.
You guys inspire me, man. You're great fathers. What advice would you have for me once I become a father? What advice would you give someone like me or someone else, that hasn't had that experience yet? I know there's no blueprint, but if you had to give some advice, what would it be?
My best advice that I could give you is, not even necessarily related to this type of conversation in particular, but is to just be mindful of what you do, because they see and they watch everything. They will emulate your mannerism.
That's probably one of the best relationships that you can have as a parent, is when they are free and comfortable to express themselves with no filter and be open to the feedback when you're providing it to them. Caleb and I have an amazing relationship, and he's very receptive of all the information that I share with him. You guys heard him speak. I didn't tell him what the topic was. Casey asked him questions on the spot, and you heard his responses, right? So that's just years of his mother and I having honest, transparent conversations with him his entire life.
As we're closing things down, man, this has been a great conversation, a much needed conversation. But I think it is important for us to talk about these things, as black men, as productive citizens. I appreciate you guys. I want to tell you guys I love you, man. Real talk. Got my chicken and zucchini going. Got my rice with my pesto, red peppers. Add the lemon to that. Almost done, guys. And voila. Wow. Tonight's topic was powerful, and it needed to be had. Young Caleb, thank you for your insight. Your words do give us hope. But just like any other topic, guys, I'm ready to eat. I know my wife is ready to eat. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for chopping it up.
I'm a young black man doing all that I can to stand. Oh, but when I look around and I see what's being done to my kind, every day I'm being hunted as prey. My people don't want no trouble. We've had enough struggle. I just wanna live. God protect me. I just wanna live. I just wanna live.